my geeks, freaks, and my peeps, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Carols, and today, guys, I'm going to discuss what I would change about Hell of a Boss. In specific, I'm going to rewrite Stolitz as it pissed me off, as there wasn't actually an arc for Stolas. I'm going to change the episode count to 24 episodes per season, and there's going to be 3 to 5 seasons. This will be an overview of the whole arc and not by episode. I'm also going to completely rewrite the relationship with Octavia at the end. This section of the rewrite is of the ship Stolitz. Stolas' character at the start is going to be exactly as he already is in the show currently. A racist, classist, rich, abuser, etc., etc. He will still demean Blitz and sexually degrade him. Blitz still acts like the bold, brash boss of IMP and still voices his disdain in this relationship, as yes, this is a real thing that some abused victims will do. Hi, hello, hi, I'm one of them. But instead of Stolas' comments being played off as cute banter, it's creepy. The deal is still made in the same way as it is in Murder Family. We see glimpses of Stolas' past, and we see him watching telenovelas, and he thinks he starts to fall in love with Blitz, who starts to realize that Blitz doesn't like the arrangement, but doesn't really understand why. During a full moon session, Stolas says that he loves Blitz, thinking that if there's any problems in relationships, that's all it takes to fix things, as he was raised by TV. But Blitz says he doesn't love nor even like Stolas and never will. Angered at Blitz's rejection, Stolas now asks Blitz to come twice a month. How dare he? I said I loved you. Isn't that enough? Stolas starts demanding even rougher bedroom activity, and in return, Stolas showers Blitz in gifts. Surely this will get Blitz to love me. After these sessions, Blitz goes home, throwing away each and every present as they trigger various traumas. All his prior relationships have been some level of exploitative, and in part, it's these relationships that brought him to make IMP. He wanted to give other imps the opportunities that he didn't, and to an extent still doesn't have. His last relationship with the then new indie artist Veroska Mayday gave him the courage to try, and after the breakup, he went to form the titular Immediate Murder Professionals. The only problem? No way to get to the human world unless he gets his hand on a grimoire. He remembered seeing a royal use one at one point, and thus tried to steal one, leading to him having to sleep with Stolas and being forced into the relationship. There were moments where we see Blitz and Stolas genuinely bonding, playing up romantic feelings in Blitz, who panics at this. Then Ozzy's plays out roughly the same, except this time it's just another gift from Stolas, a quote-unquote romantic date for the two. It's also the place where the M&Ms are having their anniversary, and Blitz takes this as a chance to miss Moxie because they are good friends and he wants to get away from Stolas. Everything else plays out the same. Stolas gets made fun of from Ozzy hiding his face. Blitz still says not to pretend the relationship is something it's not. Stolas still doesn't understand what's the matter, but seeing Blitz shaking on the verge of tears, Stolas says that maybe they should not see each other for another 3 months, and tells them to keep the book. Blitz says nothing but goodnight as he speeds off from the palace. And this will be the start of Stolas actually trying to reflect and seeing the arrangement itself as wrong. Stolas starts doing research, and we actually see character development kickstart for Stolas. Pause on Stolas. After Ozzy, Blitz starts to feel a twisted love for Stolas. Confused and angry at himself for falling in love with Stolas, he confides his feelings in Millie, clearly distressed, and Millie's been in a bad relationship. In this case, Chaz was a horrific partner, hence why when she sees him, she goes on defense. Millie comforts Blitz. Blitz asks what a healthy relationship is like, admitting he's always been jealous of her and Moxie, how he wishes he had something like what they have. This would kickstart Blitz's growth and unpacking of his own trauma. Back to Stolas. The arrangement is wrong, but it's the only way Blitz will see me. Then he finds a very, very old, dusty book. But when Hell was first created, and the Hellborn hadn't quite evolved to where they are now, the sin of lust created crystals that allowed his succubi to traverse the mortal world and seduce its people into falling. He called them Osmodian crystals. Ever since the succubi evolved to go to the human world through their biology, the crystals became obsolete, and thus forgotten and destroyed. This is it! This will allow him to keep his business. Others will be my greatest gift yet! Dad, he'll surely fall in love with me now. This icky arrangement can be done with. I must see Ozzy at once. Honestly, I wouldn't change that many things about Oops. Keep Blitz and Fizz's interactions the same, minus the he always laughs at my jokes bit, just cause that's blatantly not true. But have the beginning scene between Fizz and Ozzy take place in the office and have Stolitz walk in on them. Fizz and Ozzy get embarrassed. Fizz says he has to go shopping, and Ozzy tries and fails to be covert about him not wanting Fizz to go. That way Stolitz sees what a healthy relationship looks like. Fizz leaves and Ozzy looks tense, then snaps right back into business mode. Stolas brings up the crystals, asking if Ozzy could make him one. Then the ransom call comes. Seeing how emotional and angry he gets at Fizz being in danger, something clicks for Stolas. How Ozzy treats Fizz. How rude he visibly is. Ozzy loves Blitz. Then the paperwork scene happens, but it's just cut in half. When Fizz and Blitz show up, Fizz runs into Ozzy's arms and they punch the guy. Blitz walks in and stands at the door. Stolas also runs to Blitz, expecting a sweet embrace like Ozzy and Fizz, but Blitz doesn't move and doesn't look at him, just gives a quiet bye and then walks off. Fizz sees Blitz walk off and follows him, wanting to ask what's wrong. After all, that's not his childhood friend who played Horsey Wars. That's not the guy who just saved him from crazed lunatics. This is someone else. Someone scared. After Fizz leaves, Ozzy clears his throat and says, "Back to the crystals," asking what Stolas would need them for. After all, don't you have a grimoire? Stolas sighs and asks, how do you do it? How do you make it work between a royal and an imp? Ozzy looks at the door and back at Stolas. It's about care, respect for one another. It's about communication and listening. If one of you gives a boundary, you respect that. For example, some people love pet names, and some people just don't. This strikes a chord with Stolas. He'd never ask Blitz if he liked the pet names, and come to think about it, he'd never actually listened when he was told that Blitz didn't like it. I'm assuming the crystals aren't for you then. Ozzy remarks, again looking at the door. No. You see, I like this sound. Actually, the one that came in with yours. And I came to the realization that what I've been doing to him, it's not right. And with the crystal, he'd be able to continue his business legally. And Ozzy would say he'd have to think about it, not planning on creating the crystals, because at this point, he doesn't know that Blitz and Fizz have made up. And then the ending plays out the same, with Fizz granting permission to have the crystals made. And during the time that Ozzy and Stolas are talking, Fizz asks Blitz what's wrong. Blitz explains his situation, and this rings true with Fizz, as he is also in an exploitative relationship with Mammon. Fizz says he's always going to be there for Blitz. He's going to see if he can pull some strings to help Blitz. The conversation ends with Fizz hugging Blitz and him walking back into the room with Stolas and Ozzy. Blitz and Stolas go on their separate arcs, and part of these arcs would be them learning how to be a good partner in a relationship, mainly Stolas, and they would learn through their respective pairings. So like, Stolas would learn how to be a good partner through Fizz and Ozzy, and Blitz would learn how to be a good partner and what it's like to be in a good relationship through Millie and Moxie. And after a few months, the crystal is built, and Stolas asks Blitz to come over for their meetup. The shopping spree goes about the same, along with Blitz being genuinely happy and excited. He's feeling good and has healed a little bit due to him going on his journey. Stolas apologizes about everything to Blitz and says that in the end, if he never wants to have a relationship, he's fine with that. Afterwards, he gives him the crystal, asking if Blitz understands what's happening, as he is springing all this on him very suddenly. Blitz is given a few minutes to process this. He admits that he has also thought about it and might want to give it a go, but doesn't fully trust Stolas or believes that he is being honest and doesn't want to date him until Stolas puts his money where his mouth is, so to speak. Stolas is really hurt by this, but understands. He asks if Blitz would like to continue the relationship as it is. Blitz, confused and slightly curious due to Stolas never acting like this, agrees, now with not that many strings attached. Stolas starts listening to Blitz's bedroom needs or wants. He starts demeaning him less and starts advocating for Blitz more, who tries to make all imp lives better. Stolas starts asking for full moons. look, I only got so many ways to not say sex, cut me a break. Only when Blitz asks. He starts doing favors for Blitz in refusing payment. He now offers protection for IMP when their clients go to target them. After the in-universe time of years, Blitz asks if they can be together romantically, in which they do. They work on themselves together, and they aren't perfect and relapse, but they ultimately make progress, and they become better versions of themselves. So, with Octavia and Stella's relationships with Stolas, there is a lot of ways for you to go. Here's how I'm personally going to go. Mainly, I'd have Stella replace Stolas as the quote-unquote good parent, but her actually be a good parent. Also, Stella handles a lot of the actual royal duties as Stolas slacks off, and Octavia is in a garage band with some other Gorisha kids. Octavia grew up very close to her dad until when she turned 10 and when her dad suddenly stopped paying attention to her for Blitz. Stolas starts neglecting her hard, leading to Octavia having hardly any self-esteem in her teen years. She was also a social outcast at high school, so she's very depressed. Stella is often the only one to be there for Octavia. We see Little Nan and Sing Stars play at the same, only in Sing Stars we're introduced to the band kids that comfort Via instead of Luna. Via starts getting really into indie garage bands, and she's found a group of kids that understand her. Stella is overjoyed for her. Octavia invites both their parents to their performances, but only Stella shows up. Octavia sees Stolas improve himself for Blitz, but not for her, and decides that she doesn't want him in her life anymore. The divorce can actually be initiated by Stella and for custody. And 15-year-old Octavia chooses to stay with Stella. She lays into Stolas saying how every opportunity to be there for her, it wasn't him, but it was Stella, how they have both chosen their paths, and how she doesn't want to see him anymore. And after hearing this, Stolas confides in Blitz and admits that Via is right, but he still wants to see her. He sends birthday presents and attends her performances, although in the very, very back row. He also gets a short thanks from Via, understandably. When Via turns 1920 and gets married, Stolas attends the wedding, and when he and Via see each other, Via screams at him, telling him that every time he sends a gift, or when she sees him in the back row, it only sends her spiraling and hurts her, as he has had multiple chances to fix this in her teen years and chose not to, so it's too late, and how she never wants to see him or hear from him again, to please leave her alone. He respects her decision and decides to leave her life, it being ambiguous if Via ever will want him back in her life. So yeah, that's how I would change Stolas and his relationships. Would this be a foolproof masterclass in the best show in the world? Probably not, but there's a lot that I decided to fix, and I do think that this would be an honest improvement of the show. So yeah, I hope that y'all enjoyed this video, and wherever you lie on this beautiful spectrum that we call life, I hope that you're happy and that you're healthy. Stay safe, and remember, I love you. Bye.